Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Ask the Unfaithful. As you can tell, I am without my co host today. James says hi and sends you all his best. He's in the middle of an intensive with his wife, Sharon. And so we thought it would be good for me to just do a video just to keep establishing more and more momentum for you and your own recovery. And who knows, maybe there might be some nuggets in this quick little video that can help you, whether you're unfaithful or betrayed. I was in a session the other day, and the client said to me, she said, Sam, I keep waiting for the day when my spouse will move from not it to got it. Not it, right? Not it, not me. I didn't do it. I didn't do that. I didn't do this, blah, 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 to, you know what? I got it. I know what you need. I know what you want. Let me do the work that needs to be done. There's something we're all kind of familiar with, right? We call it being nose blind. Have you ever walked into a room where you're like, whoa, there's a scent here that I don't think this person smells, but I can sure smell it. Well, we unfaithful can become ear blind, if you will. We just don't always understand what we're saying or how what we're saying comes off. We can every now and then say some real ridiculous things, from minimization to justification to flat out denying what our betrayed spouse is feeling is real. Or we oftentimes focus on our pain and our hurt and our shame. I had a therapist say this the other day. It was a brilliant statement. She said, shame is narcissism turned inside out. I said, explain that. And she said, when we're dealing with shame as unfaithful, it's narcissism turned inside out because all we're doing is dealing with our own pain, our own hurt. We're focusing on ourselves. We're focusing on our own pain and our own hurt. And one of the things that the betrayed, and I know those of you that are watching or listening as betrayeds will resonate with, is one of the number one things that a betrayed hates is when the betrayed feels like they have to hold the hand of the unfaithful to do anything, to do a check-in, to do what some of you call daily check-in, or Fanos, which is an intimacy building exercise between couples, or read a book or book a therapy session or a coaching session or watch a podcast. Betrayeds hate when they feel like they have to do everything. They have to handhold us unfaithful to do any type of work at all. And that's where the concept of relational leadership comes in. But I can hear many of the unfaithful go, you keep telling us to show relational leadership, but no matter what I do, it's not enough, or I don't say it the right way. I don't do it the right way. It's never the way that my betrayed wants me to do it. Well, this is where sometimes we get a little bit ear blind as unfaithful. The reality is that why would our betrayed not be angry at what we've done? Why would they not be dealing with massive rage and hurt and pain at the choices that we have made? And as long as we try and tell them how they should heal when we are the perpetrators of betrayal and betrayal trauma, humiliation, demeaning, degrading behavior, we don't get to tell them how to heal. Now, as an unfaithful, you might say, but Sam, I'm trying to do these things that you're telling us and they won't let me. Well, there is something that's called post-infidelity emotional resilience. That's a mouthful. Post-infidelity emotional resilience. What I would say to you, unfaithful male or female, is that until you can show emotional resilience with the ups and the downs, the anger, the pain, the hurt, the grief, the sadness of the betrayed, you're never going to get anywhere. So whomever you're working with has got to help you understand why you get so reactive to the emotions of the betrayed. If you need them to be okay for you to be okay, we have a big problem. If they feel like they can't get angry or sad without you circling the drain, we got a big problem. Whenever we are like, not it, not it, not it, our betrayed feels abandoned, forgotten. They feel in many ways unseen because we're ear blind. When we can move to, you know what, I got it, or I get it. But the only way that we can show that we actually do get it is by the actions that we display, by emotional resilience to handle the ups and the downs and the pain, to be able to have them be upset and dysregulated and have us still be able to be calm, still be able to not get defensive and revert to not it, but to be able to find out how to show up for them by being able to not make them regulate our emotions, but to have the confidence and the security to allow them to fall apart and we show up for them. We are able to no longer focus just on our pain and our hurt, but on their hurt and their pain. But so many times, right, we unfaithful are like, I'm so sad. I'm so angry. I hate myself. I'm so mad at myself. I'm such a terrible person and I'm such an awful person. The key word there is I. You're focusing on yourself. You have become earblind to what's coming out of your mouth, when in reality, you're still focused on you, and it's narcissism turned inside out. When one of the best things that you can do is think about how your choices have hurt the betrayed. Think about how your choices have changed the entire scenery of their life. This is about you starting to move from avoidance, defensiveness, minimization, not it, to actually coming to a point where you say, you know, it's really time for me to move to a place where I can be secure in my own self and allow them to be angry, allow them to be upset, allow them to be sad, and not take on their emotion, but give them the freedom to feel what they're feeling and still hold on to myself. If you really want to gain ground with your betrayed, stop putting the recovery of the relationship due to your choices on them. Show emotional or relational leadership where you're able to say, look, I made these choices. I'm going to show leadership. Now, some of the betrayed might think, well, I don't want them to lead. They've been a bad leader. Okay, but they can at least still lead their own recovery. Unfaithful. Stop wanting somebody else to lead your recovery unless that's a helper, someone like myself or a coach or a therapist that knows what they're doing, that can show you how to lead your recovery. But don't put it on the betrayed. Stop expecting the betrayed to tell you what you need to do and start doing it on your own. That is relational leadership. That is also when you, unfaithful, decide to do work, decide to read, decide to do therapy or coaching, watch podcasts, learn about your own attachment style. You decide to do that even when they're having a bad day, even when they're upset, even when they're flooded, even when they pull back. If you're only doing work, so that they can see it, that's not authentic work. That's managing your image. That's not having a genuine encounter with your shadow and how dark that shadow is that allowed you to make the choices that you have made. I hope that this helps you today. I hope it encourages you today. I hope that at some level you can hear this and say, man, it's time for a change. I no longer want to be the guy or the girl that says, not it. And I want to be the man or woman that says, I got it. Now watch me show you just how much I've got it. Again, if we can ever help, please feel free to reach out at asktheunfaithful@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time on Ask the Unfaithful.